Good, good morning to everybody. Good morning. We are rolling out of this pen. We got about 12 or 15 riders here. Get everything shared out, get everyone organized, and we should be good to go. I want to thank everyone for joining us here on In the Feed Zone. Get started here in just a moment. We just need to get everybody organized and shared out. Go. Right, we're headed through the start banner here. We are sharing out to all of our partners out in the book world. If you like what you've seen in the feed zone in the past, definitely share out to your friends and their friends. Get the information out there for it. So we are definitely open to looking at any articles that anyone has come across. If you're interested in hearing something on in the feed zone, definitely let us know. Right? I'll be pulling up comments here, so call out to social media if you have any questions you have here for the group, for me, and for our topic today. Definitely reach out, post up, and good to go. Looks like the group is staying nice and packed together here. Good. Good. All right. Where's end comments going? Looking good. All right, so we'll bring heads in.
Right
for
on.
Us. Oops.
Right on.
All right, so welcome to In the Feed Zone. Oh, looks like my group has dropped me. I think I forgot to change my weight. Back to my. Writing at about 220 there early. Oh, God. Good. All right, so those messages are out. Welcome to In the Feed Zone. This is Jason Flores. We're going to go ahead and get started here with our first slide. My name is Jay Flo, Jason Flores here on Zwift. So if you're on Zwift, give me a ride on, I'll give you a ride on back. So quick medical disclaimer that the purpose of this live stream educate and to inform, and it's not a substitute for professional care by a doctor or other qualified medical professional, and its live streams provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or professional advice or right. The goals of the live stream today are to present articles in media covering food and hydration and how it relates to endurance sports, and also to open a dialogue for viewers to ask questions, get advice, and talk about their experiences. If we can get this group back together, I've got a couple riders behind us here. But for the riders staying with the beacon, thank you so much. All right, so today our article is from Carmichael Training System. Check them out, yes.com, and we're going to be talking about which is more important, pre or post-workout use. All right, so as we talk about this, we're going to kind of hit 4 big take-home points today, and one being pre-workout and the conversation there, well, the effects or how it affects perception per se of your workout, and also the notion that there's actually more time to work with after training, that post-workout period, and how we can optimize that. And then we'll be talking about optimizing if the 24-hour recovery cycle, meaning 24 hours or less, and also going outside of that window, optimizing the 24 to 40 hour, bring it all together in a nice little summary. Right. Like everything's up and running. Morning, good morning. Pete Donahue, guns out, McGee. That's right, that's right. Just got off, finished a workout from the endurance lab, and looks like June Upshaw is here with us today too. Thanks for the comments. All right, so let's get to it. So first things first, we're going to be talking about pre-workout, but let me just give a quick overview about one of the problems that you see with modern training, kind of in general or as a whole, is that there's always this pursuit of perfection over priority. And so what you look at is a range of products of theories, training, recovery, and athletes can get caught up in just small little of perfecting every nuance of training life. So trying to find out what exactly I should be taking before, what I should be taking like right after, to be able to get maximum amount of benefit on top of other things. Athletes will find trouble sometimes to find that direction, and that's one of the things that we're talking about today to help kind of bring that back together. When you're headed down this path, you're already headed down a rabbit hole, and we're hoping that you've got all your boxes checked, you've got your workouts planned, you've got your workouts signed properly by your coaches, following a plan that allows you to rest and recover, as well as work your endurance goal towards your goals. So really able to focus on prioritization or goal. Really important. So one of the things that might fall into this, especially with how much both on bike, on Zwift, as well as in life on the bike outdoors, is post-pre-workout nutrition. Your choices can, before and after, can significantly influence the quality of your workout, as well as your ability to recover and adapt afterward. So the simple answer is essentially that both things can help. Really, what your goals are is drive what you should be doing yourself. Okay, so there are an innumerable amount of pre-workout supplements and all optimize your workout. There are just as many to enhance your post-recovery advice and that sort of thing. And so what we're going to try to do, try to take a big sky approach to understand what we should be doing, that we can make our own informed decisions. So in some extreme cases, there are routines that are 2 hours before, 4 hours after. But if you're on Zwift, working on, you're working out, a lot of times your work goes from 90 minutes kind of as a whole. On average, you're looking at 60 to 75 minutes work done. A conversation we just had before this of with athletes, this before people wake up, or that sort of thing. So looking at the bigger picture, I want to talk about pre and post workout nutrition and what we should place our priority on. Article by CTS looks on putting the priority on post workout and I also do a lot of our athletes in the endurance lab that I work with, and then we'll talk about the reasons why, and they're very aligned with what we're talking about here. Okay, so pre-workout. So pre-workout nutrition primarily affects essentially the perception of how you feel during the workout. So for endurance athletes, staying hydrated and having your glycogen stores or your carbohydrate stores full essentially are your biggest demands on whether your workout will be successful. And so it's difficult to affect either of those hour before training. So if in fact you are waking up super morning, you're looking at a very short amount of time before you get on the bike. A lot of people straight fast, a lot of times fasted. As long as you have that glycogen store or that carbohydrate stores from the day before, from your last meal before, from the day of fueling, I think fine. Something that is acceptable. I think that you'll be able to do. So at best, any pre-workout choices, top off your tanks of carbohydrates, for example, supplements that during your workout or ride, that the perception, so they can be used for some workouts, but they won't fix global systemic problems, large deficit, not eating well or recovering from the day before, or hydrating. Waking up, amount of hydration right from the get-go before you get on could be a really easy. So poor choices, sluggish, bloated, easy, um, and it's important to make these choices work for you. You're thinking the day before versus that hour right before. If the energy and hydration are present, all you need to do is simple, water in, make top that off, get on the bike, get your work. All right. So here we start talking about how there's more time to do work after training. Just a All right. So post-workout nutrition is a greater priority because it all sets the stage for everything that happens between that workout that you're doing, for example, in your next training session. And that could be 12 hours away, or it could be a whole 24 hours away from your next workout. And in some situations, even 48 hours. So if you're training today, taking a full day off before you work out and not working out. Yeah, I can turn this up. Thanks, Jim. Give me a second. Actually, just that should be better. All right, so we're talking about it could be that it's just 12 hours away, or it could be a longer 48 hours today. If in the period that you need to replenish those stores over those 24 hours, you need to make sure you have the nutritional support and recovery in order to adapt, ensure that you have adequate hydration, and that the shorter time period between the two workouts, that the harder you need to work on replenishing those stores. And the longer time you have in between, then you just need to focus on not avoiding making mistakes, in between those times in order to make sure that we're getting what we need. Drop this. That should do it. Okay. All right. So it looks like my hair gel was interrupting our audio and our microphone, but this should be a lot better. Okay, thanks guys. Okay, so the shorter time between the periods, you need to work harder to make sure you have replenishment, meaning if you have a workout and you're doing a double day, you're going in the morning, you're going in the afternoon, you need to make sure that you get that replenishment in. If you have a longer period of time, let's say 24 hours, then what you'll find is that you just need to make sure you don't make mistakes, and we'll talk about some of those mistakes coming up next. All right, so optimizing for the sub 24-hour recovery cycle, meaning I'm working out this morning and we're working out again in the morning. So the shorter the time period between the workouts, the more proactive you need to be, and you need to, in order to get this recovery. For example, someone who trains 2 or more times in the same day, the glycogen window is in that first 30 to 60 minutes. You're wanting to make sure you get carbohydrates in while those muscles are quote unquote open and those gates are available to move carbohydrate into the muscle. This is in fact if you are working out in less than 24 hours, meaning that you work out in the morning and you're working out either in the afternoon or later in the evening for that second workout of the day. So around 12 hours between sessions is kind of where this kind of falls into place. You want to take advantage of this glycogen window or this open window. So a lot of times you'll find that riders look to use this window every time they work out, even though they might not be able, or they might not be training in the next 12 or 24 hours. They're slamming stuff down as post-workout when in fact they may not need to. That means, but in this situation, when it is less than 12 hours or less than 24 hours, that means consuming either a carbohydrate-rich recovery drink, that 4-to-1 ratio that a lot of us talk about as far as coaches, or a carbohydrate-rich meal within 60 minutes after training is important. And then also after the workout and throughout the day, consuming about 150% of the fluid that you've lost during training is also very, very important. So in the example, for example, if you're doing like a multi-day race outdoors, even there's been multi-day races here on Zwift, you're wanting to make sure that you are taking and going a further step, incorporating other recovery modalities throughout the day, making sure that you're ready to do the next day's worth of work or the next workout. So very, very important. All right, so now we fall into what I feel is a majority or larger portion of us who do one workout a day. It could be 6 days back to back, but it is one workout a day, about an hour to 75 minutes per day. And this is essentially over about 24 hours or more between workouts. And you have more than enough time to replenish your energy and fluids that you've depleted during your recent ride or run, but still maintaining that state can be a problem. So, in the past, we have been told anytime you do a workout, 60 minutes or less, the window opens, you need to fill that up 4-to-1 carbohydrate to protein ratio, dump it in, get the muscles filled up. But more and more over time, we're finding that if in fact you have 24 hours or more between your workouts, which is the average, what we find here with our riders, Zwift and with the Endurance Lab, for example, what the intentions are good, but in fact we may not need this amount of essentially fuel or the amount of expenditure that we're doing or the amount of workout that we're putting out. And so what you'll find is that it might be too much because we're not working out in that shorter period that we just talked about within 12 or 24 hours. So if we in fact do have 24 hours, you have more than enough time to be able to achieve full replenishment until your next training session. And you do want to focus on replenishment during that time, both in the first 12 hours and then in the second 12 hours, because a lot of times during the day you'll find that you may be hydrating throughout the day, and then as the day goes on and you go into the evening, you may find that you get dehydrated. So you want to keep that hydration going throughout the day, as well as the fueling throughout the day, because you can get those carbohydrates throughout the day versus just a huge slam right after a workout. So the other thing to think about is restricting carbohydrates intake throughout the day can really make your workouts and your glycogen stores decrease. So this is a conversation that we have with athletes on what their goals are. If their goals are to increase their FTP, get faster in races, get stronger in their sprints, their 1 minute time, their 5 minute time, they're going to need to fuel appropriately for their workouts. If we're in the off season and we're trying to, let's say, decrease weight to increase weights, our watts per kilogram. For the in season, we're trying to lose fat to lift weights, that sort of thing. Then things like reducing or restricting carbohydrate intake on that day could be useful. But on most circumstances, because of the intensity that we ride on or that we ride in, you'll find that restricting carbohydrates can be very, very difficult if you're doing those in between these 12 to 36 hour windows, essentially 24-hour or more working out time periods. So really being careful or mindful of how much you're doing essentially in your post-workout. Okay? All right, so just kind of wrapping things up is that there's far more time from when you finish your workout till, let's say, the next morning on average to be able to do this pre-workout snack, drink, hydration in order to fuel. That means you have more time to make decisions that will enhance your recovery, your adaptation, but also more time to get it wrong. Lunchtime with all your friends, dinner out, social gatherings, happy hours, things like that. So you got to kind of keep your goals in mind. So in the spirit of trying to keep things as simple as possible, it's just less stressful and more likely to actually happen if you just prioritize your post-workout habits over your immediate pre-workout choices. So that, for example, in a lot of situations, if you are doing morning workouts, for example, you can get up, you can hydrate, you can get on the bike. In the afternoon, if you've had breakfast, if you've had a reasonable breakfast and lunch, what you'll find is that you will have the carbohydrate stores. Let's say you always work out in the afternoon or evening. From that 24-hour period, let's say you work out after lunch or after dinner, you'll find that as you go around, you would have in those other meals been able to increase the carbohydrate stores or just your stores to be able to do a workout, and you may not need a pre-workout to kind of give you that jump to get through that early evening or late evening workout. So those long hours between the training sessions will have a greater impact on your next workout versus just that small window of that 1 hour right before the workout. So it's a long-term process, and anything you do in that first hour can affect as well as all the hours after. So it's kind of important to take this kind of big sky approach at everything and kind of looking and seeing what we can do. So just kind of a quick overview. We talked about how pre-workout nutrition typically affects mostly the perception of the workout that you're about to do, and that there's a larger window of the time to work with after training, essentially optimizing the difference between a sub 24-hour recovery cycle, meaning that you're doing 2 workouts a day, for example, one in the morning, in the afternoon, or one in the morning, in the evening, and then how to optimize a 24 to 48 hour recovery schedule, which is mostly what we do here for a lot of our riders, because they're working out, let's say, in the morning, and then in the next morning, where you may not need to prioritize the post-workout nutrition, but in fact, just keeping your nutrition kind of more steady throughout the day, making sure the goals are met throughout the day before your next workout. Between that and hydration, I think could really be the goal. And then just a quick summary, kind of making sure you're making those ideas. So the take home today is to understand how often are you working out? Do you in fact need a huge post-workout nutrition shake meal? And are you making the decisions throughout the day that will actually help your goals that you're trying to achieve in your next day's workout? And if it's more than 24 hours, then in fact just eating your regular meals can definitely do the job, and not find yourself working out and seeing, let's say, your weight goals kind of just dwindle, or your weight kind of change even though you're riding so many hours. And we've had talks about this as well. So it's really just a conversation of making sure you keep your goals in mind and making sure that you've got just one thing that you're working on, and meaning if you're trying to increase your FTP, if you're trying to increase your power, then you're making sure that you're optimizing that, and that we're able to make decisions to understand that. So if you have any questions, I'm going to go to social media now, see if there's any questions here, as well as anyone here on Discord. See if we've got anything going on. Just got a handful of riders here in Discord today, and I've got just a couple comments here on Facebook. Double check, but looking good. But thanks for everyone for joining us today. Thanks for all the likes and the comments here in the Facebook live feed. If you guys have any questions about this article in particular, I have posted let's see, I have posted the article here, and what I will do is also post it in the conversation over on Facebook, so you guys can go back and take a look at this and be able to get more information there. So I'll send that there now, and then we'll go from there. If you guys have anything that you would like to see here on In the Feed Zone, definitely drop me a line on Facebook or here in the chat, and we'll be able to kind of get that on and work that through here in the Feed Zone. But if there's not any questions, great job today. Great group staying together today as well. Thanks for that, and I will see everyone next week on In the Feed Zone with another article. Try to get you lined up and in the Feed Zone.